Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Low Rollers Live, a Dungeons & Dragons live adventure. I am your host, as always, Danny Allinson, playing the role of Bryn Wanders. And with me here tonight, we have Jonathan Edwards as Narroth, the Prince of Thieves.
Hola.
Danny Garcia as Astor Mithlader.
Hello.
Rachael Murphy as Isgrim Barazon. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Yay!
Hello.
Alan Seymour playing Lady Lilith von Kiln.
What's up?
And a very mysteriously quiet Robert Seitz as Zarrius.
Hello.
And of course, as always, we have our fantastic Dungeon Master with us, Chris Rondeau. Chris, why don't you catch us up and take us away?
I kind of want to see Robert give the last week synopsis, but I
That's me.
think that's mean.
Yeah, that would be mean.
Yeah, but I'm me. Perfect. So last week we saw our band of adventurers go from Lake Lacarum with the Flaming Furnace trio into the city of Vienna. The city of Vienna. My baby's making noises and it's distracting. The city of Vienna is very much well kept, very organized. You guys are genuinely well received, and you can tell that the city is getting ready for this festival that's coming, at the Festival of Returning Light. Upon inquiring a little bit, you guys arrive at an inn, and you quickly go to bed after running away from each other because gifts are scary, apparently. And oh, those blue dresses. And upon falling asleep, you guys seem to go through some of your worst memories. And we'll basically pick it up there. All six of you have gone through these memories, and you have found yourself rather disturbed by it. As we continue on to this concept, you guys, all six of you in separate scenes, will basically appear in a room, either a room or a cave or the tundra, depending on who you are, sitting or standing across from a father figure of some sort, your biological father, which may not be your father figure. So I want to take this time to go back to the workshopping we kind of started last week, where we talked a little bit about backstory and that sort of thing, and just discuss a little bit about the father figures in your life. So when your characters go through this mental scene, we'll be able to get a little clearer understanding of what that is, and also give the audience a chance to fully discuss or hear us discuss about your parents. Let's start with Astor. Hey, Danny, tell me about your daddy issues.
Well, they're daddy issues that he's not aware of, to be more precise. But anyways, Astor's father was a human by the name of Nigel Roston. The way Astor knows him is he was someone very prominent in a circus troupe. And Astor had a very, for the most part, non-eventful childhood, we'd say. He didn't have any particular trauma develop or anything like that. But he had a great childhood where his dad was the one who kind of showed him the ropes as far as being part of a circus troupe, doing acrobatics, being able to do some good feats of strength. All around, also kind of his charisma kind of rubbed off on Astor as well, which is why he is very, I guess I'd say, very social for the most part, because it kind of is an influence from his father. And his sword work and using the shield is also something that his dad showed him. He would use various types of swords as part of acrobatic feats and other circus showmanship. So his father died a natural death, just of old age, and then that's kind of what spurred Astor into traveling around. So that's what Astor knows about him. What he doesn't know is about everything that happened before that. Nigel Ralston was actually a lord of a keep south of the Blackwater Mansion, and he did actually have a wife. And sorry, give me just a second. Yeah, so anyways, and his wife was actually named Morgan, and he did actually have a son named Austin. And so what happens is, at some point, Nigel was going to the Excelsior Olympics, but on his way, he encountered Astor's mother, who was an Eladrin, which the difference is that the Eladrin are from the Feywild as opposed to the elves that are from the material plane. And her name was Diane Mithlader. He was charmed by her via Feywild magic, and Diane had no idea about what the culture was like as far as monogamous relationships in the material plane. So she and Nigel kind of eloped, I guess we would say, and then his original wife Morgan and her son Austin were left alone. So that's pretty much the darker, I guess, not necessarily darker, but just the unknown past of Astor's father that even he is not aware of. And that is also the reason why Astor has the last name of Mithlader as opposed to Ralston, because if he had the name Ralston, he would be suspect of being related to the keep south of Blackwater Mansion. But aside from that, he had a pretty good relationship with his father.
Cool. So, you see your father across from you at this moment. Can you describe him at all, maybe? What would he normally wear on the average day to the circus or performance act or something?
Yeah, sure. So, his father was a fairly well-built man. He was more lean than muscular, I guess we would say, because he needed more flexibility than strength for his acrobatic feats. He would normally wear something like not a muscle shirt, but just a t-shirt, but with the sleeves cut off. And then he would also be wearing some very comfortable tights, I suppose, with some pants over it as well, just to kind of be able to move without any issues. He wore regular clothes that you would see in a circus troupe, honestly. Very simple, but practical.
Cool. Nice. So Zarrius actually has the real daddy issues. Besides, why don't you enlighten me a little bit on that?
Well, Zarrius's father was the main reason for... Well, okay, let me just rephrase that whole thing because my brain is not working today. Zarrius's father is essentially he made me who I am in terms of the color of my skin. So my father is a gnome, but when I was really, really young, aka before I was born, he made a pact with Asmodeus, and he sold my mother to him as a slave, and that was his gift to Asmodeus for what he was doing for him. Zarrius's father forced my skin color to appear reddish, just because tieflings tend to appear red, from where I from where we are, the continent we're from. He is very much hated by my character, Zarrius. Zarrius absolutely hates him and wants to take him down for what he has caused, both physically and mentally. Zarrius does not want his mother to be enslaved, and he would want his main goal has always been to free his mother from this slavery. So overall, Zarrius just absolutely despises him and actually wants to kill him. And as you guys know, Zarrius is not a killing person. He doesn't tend to kill anyone, knocks him out, whatnot. But Zarrius actually wants to kill his father for what he has caused.
And you want to share a little bit about your father's exploits, possibly?
I'm sorry, my brain is not functioning properly. What do you mean by... Oh. Oh, right. So... Zarrius's father has gathered a large army. And he has wreaked havoc on the Feywild in previous story arcs before we started streaming. So Zarrius' father has gone and tried to take over as much as possible. Just think of him as a little Napoleon, because he is little. Yeah, so that's kind of his main exploit.
Cool. Napoleon complex. That's interesting. Lilith, why don't you describe your father to me?
Okay, my father was a very prominent member of the Merchants Guild in Tyria. Probably second only to the Hyperion family. And he was a very prim and proper guy. Believed his nobility was the essence of who he was. He believed of getting his family ahead any way he could see fit. If that meant doing some underhanded things, then, well, he looked the other way. He also was very demanding of his family. He wanted his family to be the, how do I put it, the best at everything that they did, no matter what they did. He was not a unkind man, but he was not exactly he wasn't exactly a 1950 sitcom dad either. He was he loved his family in his own way, but how he showed it, not necessarily from the outside looking in, you would think differently.
How's your relationship with him?
It was strained at best. Lilith was kind of a disappointment in his eyes because she didn't follow in his footsteps. And with her being the only child, he didn't get the son that he wanted to carry on the family name. So therefore, she was always a disappointment to him. She, especially once she left, he didn't cut her off, but he didn't also support the things that she did. Right up until he died from an illness previous to the campaign, I guess I would say. He died shortly before the whole flying frogs mercenary band took over Tyria. Yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Does he look like you? Do you share very many physical similarities?
She looks more like her mother, but she sort of has, for the longest time, she sort of had her father's personality. He was sort of the kind of guy that was, nice to your face, the upstanding merchant, always trying to find a way to manipulate the situation. And that's how she was most of her life. As far as physically, she's more like her mother, but she has sort of her father's mannerisms. So yeah.
Cool. Bryn wanders. Your character's relatively new, and we don't actually know much about your family, so give as much detail as you are ready for.
Okay. Bryn's father is a shrewd man, or a shrewd tiefling, I should say. Very sullen and calculating. As far as the relationship between the two, there almost wasn't any, no more than his relationship with like a servant that he had in his household. Bryn only got the feeling that he only cared for her as much as he could use her, which is as what you could assume that a lord would use his daughter for. As far as what he looks like, Bryn gets her skin color from him, but his eyes are almost a piercing yellow, and his expressions are almost always emotionless. He doesn't move or make any erratic movements. It's all very thought out, what he does. And he almost like stands as a statue as he talks to you, with a very deep voice, commanding you basically what he wants you to do.
Interesting. Cool. Rachael, Iskrim specifically. You're also rather new to the campaign, so I always feel bad that you got dragged into this kind of session. But would you like to tell me a little bit about your father, who I believe was a chieftain?
Yeah, actually, I actually don't mind sharing a whole bunch about him. He, in terms of looks, he was actually kind of described by those of his clan as looking like a polar bear in dwarf form. He was very large for a dwarf, very stocky, very muscular. His hair was snow white, and he had very light blue, like ice blue colored eyes. And he was actually pretty hairy on his body as well, which is how he got the polar bear kind of moniker. And when he was in battle, he was also pretty much a barbarian, and he would just slay things and flay right and left, and so his name became Rampaging Bear, and people actually kind of forgot his actual name, except for Isgrim. He still knows his father's name, and he was very close. So Isgrim's mother kind of, to be honest, I haven't decided if she's disappeared or she died, but she's been gone since he was young, and so he was raised pretty much solely by his father, and his father, being the chieftain, basically raised Isgrim to follow in his footsteps, and Isgrim respects him and loves him, and it's one of those where it's like he knows his father has fault, but he doesn't care. He's very loyal to his father, and his father did die by basically throwing himself in front of a rampaging giant walrus that was like his clan they were out on a hunt, and it looked like the walrus was going to kill about 3 or 4 of the clan, and so his father just ran into the middle of that and saved everybody else.
So, how was your relationship with him? Was it like loving? You described it, and I immediately thought of How to Train Your Dragon, and so that relationship came to mind between the two main characters. But
it's actually been so long since I've seen that movie, I can't say if that's accurate or not. But think of like, it's a very loving father, but also as a master and an apprentice. So his whole childhood, he spent, if he wasn't directly being taught by his father, he was sitting there watching his father and learning how to do things. So they were very close. They didn't talk much. It was a very non-verbal relationship.
Cool. And that leaves us with Narroth, who has the scariest father, I think, out of everyone.
Yeah, sorry, he kind of takes the cake.
Tell me about Daddy Narroth.
So Narroth's father is a dragon known as Dementia, and the only interactions with him that Narroth has ever known were when the party was actually going to kill him in the Shadowfell. So he knows his father as kind of a dark, shadowy dragon form who just radiates menace. For Narroth, this is kind of a balancing point between his desire to get to know his heritage and the obvious fear and and his commitment to saving the world from his father. So his father is kind of a very complicated subject, but they have a relationship of enemies.
Cool. So why don't you explain some stuff like his color and what he was supposed to represent, maybe, and stuff like that?
So as Narroth knows him, he is kind of a shadow figure. But what he originally was a red dragon. Sorry, I'm having a hard time. What was he supposed to represent?
Oh, like greed and power. And
oh yeah. So he definitely embodies some of the natural dragons tendencies, like the desire for lots and lots of gold, the greed of just hoarding his treasure all to himself, definitely a quest for power above all others, killing any of those that got in his way, basically doing whatever it takes to get his end.
Cool. For Narroth specifically, I envisioned this scene with Red Dragon. So he has his full figure of this ancient, almost deity in power red dragon, and you'll probably see him on top of his lair, which you have been to in the past. So on top of his gold, on top of his power, however you want to visualize it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you sit or stand or are in the presence of your father figures. There are mixed emotions going on. Um, some of it is of love, um, like Iskrim, and to the extent Astor as well. Some of it is of terror, like Narroth in the presence of his magnificent father who, spreads his wings out and he gets the full embodiment of it. Some of it is of hate, like Zarrius and his father. Um, some of it is I don't know how I would describe Bryn's relationship and Lilith's relationship with their father, but I imagine is kind of frustration or
Annoyance.
almost denial and annoyance. And they look at you, and all six of them speak in a voice that is unrecognizable to any of you guys. It's unlike any voice you've heard before. It it sounds robotic, like someone was speaking into a fan. Is how I imagined the voice. And it speaks. So this is where we're at. These are your fathers, and the scene sort of fades back into a gray space. It doesn't look like there is a floor. All six of you can see each other at this point, unable to move. And in the center of the six of you, you see a humanoid substance. Now, let's explain the area real quick. It is almost like you are in the midst of purple matter. Um, uh, it doesn't look like there's a floor, but you guys are clearly on an even level. And it doesn't look like there is an end to it as well. The figure itself appears to be like a dark shadow, but from each of your perspectives, you can see his eyes and you can see his mouth and his teeth. But everything else appears to be shadowy in nature. And he looks at each one of you simultaneously and goes, with his white teeth appearing at a grin. Seems like we all kind of had daddy issues. Well, most of us. And he stands out a shadowy hand at all six of you to shake it potentially. And he waits.
Astor says, "Who are you?"
With his hand still extended. My name's Adam.
And
He looks you can tell by his eyes and his face he looks kind of offended no one's taking his hand, and he lowers it. It's like, oh, I thought you guys were friendly. That's okay, I guess.
Where have you
Sorry, go ahead.
Where have you taken us? Why are we here?
Oh, this is the Void. Have you guys not been here? Oh, of course you guys haven't been here before. That's a silly question. This is the Void.
Why are we here?
Oh, I have brought you here, of course.
And why have you brought us here?
Oh, that's kind of a difficult question.
Well, it
Well,
seems like we have some time for you to answer.
He kind of gives like a shrug. I brought you here to test you. See what you're made of.
Now you say that here is the void, but where is that?
Surely you've seen the Void at the very least. You see it in the sky about half the time at least.
Half the time? How so?
Well, half the time it's the day and the other half is the night. Which one do you think is the void?
Betting on night.
This feels like a trick question.
No, it's a legitimate question since you guys don't know the answer. I haven't really met my father, but I'd imagine that if he was trying to teach me something, he would want us to draw our own conclusions.
Okay, it's nighttime. I'll agree with Bryn. It's nighttime.
Narroth looks over to Danny.
Which one?
Bryn or
Danny
Astor?
Garcia.
Astor.
Astor.
You
Oh,
forgot
okay.
the name Astor?
Sorry?
You forgot the name Astor?
I did.
Damn it.
Narroth looks over to Astor. H4NK said something about this. He called it space.
Oh, I do remember that.
No, not the space thing.
Not the space?
No, the other thing in the sky. Come on, you can figure it out.
The moon.
Ah, yes. I call it the void.
Well, it's certainly the same color.
Really? You see the moon as purple?
It was described as gray.
And then it was that we were in a purple midst of purple matter.
I did describe it both ways.
Oh, okay. Gray and purple.
Which is funny because my map looks. Okay, anyway,
Maybe Bryn is colorblind.
maybe Chris forgot what it was.
I think Chris forgot.
You see his mouth grow wider. He's like, yes, the moon.
No, you see Bryn's eyes are purple, so it's filtering it out. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're fired.
Fair enough.
So, are you telling us we're on the moon right now?
Well, I'm telling you, you're in the void, which is an extension of the moon in this case. I can't actually physically bring you to the moon. Well, I can, but I didn't.
That would be terrifying. So, why do you want to test us out of everybody you could possibly bring here?
Oh, we'll see. 4 of you released the Wounded King, and I'm very appreciative of that.
You just hear Astor kind of facepalm when he says that.
Let me explain. I'm Kai's patron.
Astor facepalms again.
Oh, show a little respect.
I have no respect for any man, being or otherwise, that allies himself with that bastard.
Now,
Which one? The Wounded King or Kai?
yes.
Take your pick.
Now, I have another question for you. Why would good old Kai's patron take interest in us just because we released the king, or what?
To an extent, this is a test. This is a test to see your mental fortitude, see where you guys align yourself.
You do realize that not all of us set free the Wounded King, right?
Yes, but misery loves company, and you're in their company.
You see Astor look over to Iskrim and Bryn and say, sorry.
That's okay. I signed up for it.
And I am here. There is nothing I can do.
Please take what I'm about to say very seriously. You 6 are incredibly powerful. So much so that you have caught the attention of myself and, as well as other people. The Asmar gods, a couple of the Fey gods, a couple of the demons from the Nine Hells. A lot of attention. You shouldn't be surprised that people would take interest in you.
Great.
I guess I should be flattered, but I really didn't want it. Oh well. So, sorry, I was just going to say, how do you want to test us?
Well, first, I'm kind of here to give you a proposition. See, with Kai missing, I have lost one of my knights. I need someone to replace him and join me in the void.
Hold on. You said Kai is missing, not dead?
Missing, dead. It's kind of the same thing. Regardless, he is irrelevant now.
It's kind of not the same thing. Is he dead or is he missing?
See, this is where you misunderstand. I'm not actually here to answer your questions.
Well, go on.
Anyway, I need someone to replace Kai. And why accept one person when I can accept 6? Where do you stand? I can offer you refuge in the void, because you don't want to be on the natural plane for much longer.
Sorry, but the natural plane is my home. I demand you take me back.
Why is it that we don't want to be in the natural plane?
The world is going to wreak havoc upon itself beyond some of the greater threats that are existing. The natural plane is no longer going to be safe.
Well, I didn't sign up for safe. So how about you send me back now?
Yeah, I mean, you can say what you want, but to my understanding, the 6 of us here are planning to turn all the assumptions you've made on its head and make the natural plane a better place to live. At least that's my goal.
You all feel that way?
I don't think pitching it by telling us your involvement with Kai was the right way to go, buddy.
Hey, we live on honesty, don't we not?
Well, I can appreciate that, I suppose.
What exactly is your offer? Just so we know what we're deciding.
Narroth?
Like any sort of god and fellow man, I think would be the layman's terms. I give you a portion of my power, a spot in the void, as I wreak havoc on the earth.
You're to wreak havoc on the earth.
Well, Narroth, you think you have daddy issues, you don't even know the half of it.
So we are to assume then that your father is on the earth, or natural plane as you call it. Who exactly would that be?
Again, not really here to answer questions, but
If I had to guess,
appreciate
I'd
the
say
sentiment.
Letrus Leon.
But if we could help you with your daddy issues, and we could still go back to our homes in the natural plane, that would be better, yes?
My father is beyond saving, and he will feel the wrath of my power shortly.
Might not be the only one beyond saving.
But, if you guys want to go back to the natural plane, you can deal with the lecherous Leon problem. I have no qualms with that. trap him inside another tower or poke out his eye. That eye is really a hassle, from what I understand.
Yeah, definitely made it seem like my magic power was non-existent for a bit. Not fun.
But those are your options. I've heard from some of you.
Back to the natural plane. I'm with the rest of them.
Adam looks towards Narroth.
Narroth looks Adam in the eye. I stand with them. I am a protector of this natural plane.
He shrugs and his grin goes wider in the shadowy form where the bottom half of what would be his face sort of occupies this grin. Alright, then we will continue the test. I want to find out how powerful you really are, so I left some friends to occupy you for a little bit, just to sort of see if you guys are all that, really. I'm sorry, you'll probably wake up with a headache, but at no point do I believe you won't survive this.
So we were dreaming then.
Yes, I took you into the void in your dream, and in this dream, you will face my minions. He proceeds to mesh into this purplish, grayish substance, and from around you, you notice three beings. They take on this humanoid form, but they just appear to be shadows of what it could be, and they appear around you, and at this point, any sort of shock is sort of released, and you guys are mentally there. Astor will realize he has his sword and shield in his hand, and Lilith will feel the power of her divine energy and feelings like that. The concept of any sort of shock that would have prohibited your movement is back. And you hear from around you as eyeballs begin to appear all around in this space. Good luck, I'm sure we will meet again. And send my regards to Lecherous Leon for me. Thanks. Roll for initiative.
Oh, that sucks, Alan.
Oh.
Yeah. I get an advantage and I still roll a nat 1 on both.
Oh, man. Ooh, what's Feral Instinct?
I think she gets to roll again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Dex, Narroth.
+2. 14.
Bum, bum, bum.
At this point, you guys will be free to draw your arcane focuses, your swords and shields, assemble the combat stance, but you won't be able to do much else as this creature seems to get the first turn. Let me pull up this. Give me 1 second. I forgot how to do combat for a second.
Well, you see, you press the buttons.
You're not the only one.
It's a little more difficult than
Nope,
that.
that's it.
No, you press the button and then the other button. That's what you were missing.
I see.
You just press buttons at random. Something will happen.
Eventually.
Astor, this is against you.
Oh no. So what do these things look like?
Let me re-describe that after I
Sure. And the attacks and stuff.
What is your con attack?
Higher than that.
26?
Oh, it has advantage?
In this case, he does, yes.
Okay, then I'm hit.
So you'll take 13 damage and you're paralyzed for 1 minute. You can repeat the saving throw at the end of your turn, or Lesser Restoration or spells like that will repair the damage.
Ow.
But we are going to move and attack Bryn.
No.
So you see this figure run in, and for all intents and purposes, it just looks like a shadow of some sort. You can see it clearly. It's distinctive on the background. But he walks up, and all you see is this eye appear at his face. And because it was unexpected, he will have advantage on this strike. He looks at Astor, and this energy comes at him, and Astor just feels cold, and he seizes up ever so briefly. And he will go on to Bryn and attack her twice. With disadvantage, I think?
Yes. Unless the first one hits, then the second one has it's just regular. So yeah, the first one hits. The second one does not.
So as he goes into attack Bryn, from what would be his arm, you suddenly see it manifest into this light blue hand, and it touches you, and you feel the life draining from you, and you get just a little colder. Narroth.
At this point, Narroth is going to turn to the group and not do anything in terms of combat, but say, listen, he wants to see how we'll react. He wants to see how powerful we are. I say we don't give him that chance. It's a dream. We can't be killed in a dream. Narroth is going to do nothing.
Iskrim?
Way to go. Put me on the spot there. All right, so we've got the creature that is attacking Bryn, yes?
That's correct.
Okay.
For all intents and purposes, the pain feels real.
Astor knows.
Bryn
And
knows.
All right.
Astor's experiencing sleep paralysis right now.
That's what Danny's feeling. What is Astor actually feeling?
Well, damn. Sorry, Rachel.
No, that's okay. I'm needed the extra time to figure out what I was going to do. I'm definitely going to actually attack the creature attacking Bryn, because you guys are part of my group now. I have to protect you. So I'm going to use the charger feat, and I'm going to dash. And I'm going to use my bonus action to shove the creature. And is that considered a straight line from where I'm at to the creature?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Okay, cool. Excellent. So I'm going to make an attack roll, and I get +5 to that because of the charger feat.
+5 to the attack roll?
Yep.
Nice.
Well, how does a 30 to hit sound?
And I'll do it.
Nice.
Cool. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And I also get an extra attack. So do you want me to roll again, or do you just want to take the second roll there?
So I'm reading the charger feat right now. It says you get a +5 bonus to the damage roll, not the attack roll.
Oh, shoot.
Also, since you're technically using your bonus action, it actually says use your bonus action to make one melee attack. So it's only one attack for this bonus action, since you used your action to dash. So you can either take +5 to the damage roll or push the target up to 10 feet away from you.
Okay, let's go ahead and push it.
Okay, and it appears like it's either pushing it or doing damage, based on how I'm reading it.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I'm kind of with Robert tonight where my head's not all there, even though I'm literally reading it over again. So that makes sense. So we're going to push it 10 feet straight away from where I land, which I'm going to move my token.
Perfect. And so I'll push him there, which is probably the best decision you could have made.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have a movement action, so you can get right up on it if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Do I get an attack of opportunity?
You technically don't have a melee weapon out.
I do have a melee weapon.
What's your melee weapon?
A dagger.
Okay, go ahead and roll your dagger.
Ah, yeah.
Is it a magical dagger?
No.
Okay. That hits.
But she like just pulls it out with her right hand and kind of like the backhand swipe across and then sheathes it again.
So I ended up... Oh, go for it.
Oh, is there damage attached to that? No, there isn't.
No.
Okay, hold on. Just keep going. I'll roll damage.
I ended up on the other side in case anyone wanted to flank, but I pushed him away from Bryn because I know she's mostly a long-range shooter.
Thank you.
Yep, good plan. End of turn?
Yes.
Yay, 2 damage.
Yay.
Astor, roll your... Oh, I attack you again. This one will be normal.
Thank God. Nope, still affected.
Perfect. You don't take damage from this one. You only take that. You only took damage from the first one.
Yeah, I hoped.
I'm going to attack Lilith with the chilling gift. Does 28 hit your con defense, Lilith?
No, of course it doesn't. Yes, it does.
Perfect. And then he's gonna go beat up on Zarrius.
So what does that paralyze me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sucks, dude.
Hold on.
Yeah, those will hit.
So remember, Zarrius, Astor, and Narroth have 3 resist to necrotic.
Oh, that's right.
I only did a cold to Astor though.
Either way, good to remember.
Cool. So I'm guessing those hit. So go ahead and add that up and take your turn, Zarrius.
Okay. Well, since he kind of beat up on me, I'm gonna return the favor. Bonus action to cast Shillelagh. And then I will swing at said void monster.
So do I take the 16 cold damage?
That's correct.
Okay, cool. And I might as well try a stunning strike.
Yeah, go for it. Oh, Jesus. Good job. He has a 24 stun defense, or con defense.
Okay.
So, good job.
Okay. Cool. And then I'm going to go over here and beat up on the other one.
With advantage.
Real quick, Chris, is that chilling gaze a concentration effect?
Nope.
Well, Nikes.
16 misses.
Right, I figured. And since I attacked 2 different targets, I get to attack him one more time due to my weapon ability.
That'll hit.
All right. And might as well try a stunning strike on him too. No.
Sorry.
And yeah.
Bryn.
All right, Bryn is going to move over to Nara. Boop. She takes out her rifle, and we'll do this on monster number 2 down there in the bottom right. Well, shite. So I'm going to go ahead and feel a little bit lucky on this one.
Sure.
You want me to describe it?
Yes. Well, I'll roll the hit first.
Okay. Better.
There you go.
Okay, so Narroth probably sees this the best because her left hand is literally in his face right now. As she like aims the shot, the ring on her left hand kind of glints just a little bit before she pulls off the trigger and lets the bullet fly. So dude is knocked prone.
How much damage?
Oh, it doesn't have that either. Okay, give me a sec. Just take the damage from this. Hey.
He gets knocked, or he doesn't. It doesn't look like he's prone, but he kind of like folds over for a little second. But your bullet doesn't technically do as much as it. The bullet seems to go through the target.
Okay. Bryn is gonna when she ejects the cartridge out of her gun, she's gonna grab it and press it against Narroth's chest, just so he can feel some of the heat from the spent cartridge, and just say, "Sure feels real." She's then going to grab her rifle in her right hand and take out her pistol, shooting Void Monster 3. That's the close one, right? Yeah, twice. Oh, baby.
Hey, that's the Bryn we know.
Well done.
And then she's going to hightail it back. Protect me, Astor.
You can see him go.
She'll press those sprint cartridges against that. I'm just kidding. I'm done.
Narroth has fire resistance. I don't.
I know, so do I.
Void Monster 2 spends half his movement to get up, which will leave him with 20 feet, which is just enough to not get into melee range.
Hey.
He's gonna attack Bryn with the chilling gaze. And Danny will take that when he gets back. Lilith, go ahead and roll your saving throw.
No, you have to
I
attack
attack.
me.
That's right. Hope for low.
Ooh.
Plus 10s, man.
But you do not take the damage. Void Monster 1 is still healthy. So he's going to look very scarily at Zarrius.
The chilling gaze is going to take us all out.
Yep.
Yep.
So are you paralyzed?
Yeah.
And then he's going to attack Iskrim twice.
Ooh.
Ouch. For the cold damage, I should have something that negates that, or at least halves that. Let me check.
I believe you have resistance to cold, so that halves it.
That sounds right.
Cool. So, go ahead and math that. Narroth.
Narroth is keenly aware that since he did not attack any of them, none of them have attacked him. So Narroth is going to look around saying, no, I refuse to participate in this sick test. And then he's going to sit down and protest.
I know who's getting shot next.
Iskrim.
Crap, I'm still mathing, Chris.
Oh, sorry. Danny, I attacked your con defense for
Me, Danny?
25 I did. So you're now paralyzed.
Oh, man. Did I take damage?
You took 22 cold.
22 cold. Alright. I don't like being paralyzed.
Yeah, for most of us, all he has to do is roll like a 5, and or like a 8 or better, and he's paralyzing every one of us.
I mean, Bryn actually has a bonus in her con defense. Just not that well of a bonus.
But I rolled really high on you.
Yeah, you did.
Iskrim, when you're ready.
Okay, so Iskrim is
Rachael, just as a point of order, don't forget to rage.
That's literally what I'm gonna do right now.
Just bringing that up.
I thought about it last turn and I decided against it, but crap is happening and people are getting hit by cold attacks. So Iskrim is very upset and he's gonna go ahead and rage, which I'm trying to find the button that I have for that. But also, he is going to perform a reckless attack on the void monster in front of him, as well as a regular attack because he gets 2 because he's barbarian. As a result of his raging, he has an aura that's really long, but basically the short of it is that your guy has to take damage. 1d6. He needs to make a dexterity saving throw first.
Okay, so we do static defenses, so let me figure out that number for you. But go ahead and roll your attack rolls for now. Both hit.
Excellent. Also, as a result of his rage being triggered, he has something called Storm Soul, which will shield Zarrius, at least right now, from cold. He has resistance.
Nice. So you can roll a 1d20 plus 8 against his dex defense.
I'm assuming 24 passes?
Yep.
Cool. He takes 6 damage.
Cool. End of turn?
Yes.
Astor, go ahead and roll. Or I attack.
Yep, still paralyzed.
Void Monster 3 is stunned. Zarrius, roll. Or I attack. Ugh. Forgetting my own rules. Okay, well.
You need to get new dice.
Yeah, that's the issue. This is against Bryn. 18 against Bryn?
18 does not pass.
Okay, so you are paralyzed. You can take your action next turn.
Okay.
Void Monster 2. You see him walk here, looks at Narroth for the briefest of seconds and says, "Interesting," and then walks here. You see Iskrim's gonna get attacked by a chilling gaze. Should probably miss Iskrim.
What's that against? Oh,
Con. So
con.
19 against con defense. So it's 14 plus whatever your bonus is to saving throw.
Okay, and your guy did 19 against that? Or 13?
19.
How do they have advantage?
They have advantage on the initial attack.
Because feats and stuff.
Because this is the first time fighting a void creature.
Okay. Grudgingly say that hits me.
14 plus. You have a pretty high con, don't you?
Yeah, I have an 18 con, but that gives me 4. 14 plus 4 is 18.
You have
Yeah.
proficiency with Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, you're a
So-
barbarian.
You have a +8 to that, so you're set, man.
Okay, cool.
22
Never,
on your con defense.
never mind then.
Your con defense is like my wisdom defense.
And then he's gonna take 2 attacks at Bryn.
First one has disadvantage. Oh.
Damn.
So, first, both hit. I'm going to react to that. So, actually, let me see if I'm alive first. I'm going to react to the first one.
Okay.
I'm still alive after the first one, or after the second one, but I'm going to react to the first one. Okay, as Bryn gets hit, she puts her left hand into her, like, right armpit and pulls out a little pistol that somebody else gave her from a shoulder holster that she made. And this is the new version of Hellish Rebuke.
Ugh.
Oh man, I'd get more grit. No, I'm just kidding.
If only.
If only. Okay, then I'll take the other half of that damage, which is a whole lot.
Oh, is that Lilith's pistol?
Yeah. Bryn hurt. Save Bryn.
And I will attack Lilith again for the
Roll low.
con thing.
You didn't roll low.
I'm sorry. Void Monster 1 is going to attack Iskrim twice. Because it's reckless, he has advantage.
That is correct. Which means both hit.
Cool. Total, it's 30 necrotic and 12 gold, so 30 necrotic and 6 gold total. So 36. Narroth.
Narroth's gonna watch the fight, interested in seeing the Void Monster's tactics rather than seeing the combat itself.
As you do nothing this turn, you hear a voice. Well, everyone can hear the voice, but it's centered on Narroth and goes, "You know, we can do very good work together if you would just give in. I can turn you into what your father was, a full-blooded dragon." Iskrim.
Okay, well, if I were playing a smarter character, I would stop fighting right now. But I'm playing a barbarian who is currently raging. So I'm just gonna attack again and again.
Ah, 28 hits.
Sweet. And that's gonna go ahead and be my turn. Oh, and I use my bonus action to maintain my rage because I'm raging.
I believe maintaining your rage is just
You just have to attack.
have to attack something or be attacked.
Yeah.
But we do have the aura attack. If you want to roll that.
Hey,
Why, yes, I do.
Chris, don't forget that because she has that brutal critical, she actually does like 14 plus whatever her plus the 8.
So yeah, I tripled it, so we're good.
Oh, okay.
All right, 24 against the static
That
defense.
hits, yeah.
Okay.
She's rolling well too, so I don't know why you're mad at me.
And 2 damage.
This is against Astor.
Because I didn't do anything and I still got attacked.
Hey, it was 1 point less.
Hey!
You're starting to roll worse, guys.
It's happening.
I make it to the flank.
By the way, I'm bloodied.
Oh, I'm way bloodied.
I think we can all see each other's health bars, right?
Yes.
That's correct.
I'm very bloodied, though.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
Bryn looks pretty bloodied.
So Iskrim is not Iskrim is not flanked, but he will get attacked.
He also gets an opportunity attack.
Bring your range?
Say what? He has the sentinel feat.
Oh, okay, yeah, because he moved 5 feet within your thing. Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Uh, 17 will hit.
Sweet.
But you will take. What's your AC at?
15.
So the second one will hit. So you'll take 15 necrotic and 3 cold. Zarrius. Oof. Bryn.
Right. I'm gonna do a different trick shot. But I'm also gonna spend an extra grit to give myself advantage on this. So I am shooting monster number 2 right in front of me. With advantage. I didn't even need it. Here's the damage, and he's pushed 10 feet back. Right next to Narroth. Just take the damage from that. And Bryn is going to say to Narroth, either help him or help us. And then move here. Takes out her pistol and shoots Void Monster 3. Is that the one that's above Iskrim?
I believe so.
Okay. Shooting him twice. I'm
both hit.
rolling good.
Void Monster 2 will look at Narroth, and in that Adam voice it will say, "So are you going to help them, or are you going to help us?" And grins and stands there. This is against Lilith. This is not going well. Void Monster 1 is going to move for the flank on Iskrim. Get that advantage and attack twice. So this hand appears and touches Iskrim, and she feels the life draining from her. And the voice of Adam comes to Narroth and goes, "If you join me, you can save them all. What are you going to do?"
Oh,
Narroth.
bro.
Still up, Iskrim?
Looking at that. That is... Shoot. I think I'm still up. Is the chilling gaze, was that directed at me as well?
No.
Okay.
So at this point, Narroth is being given the carrot of help your friends and the stick of, the carrot of I'll give you absolute power, and the stick of I'll keep hurting your friends. And at this point, Narroth is gonna try to shut out basically all the outside influences and concentrate on what's within. That's what's helped him so far. That's what he's going to keep doing. So he's going to basically meditate in the middle of this battle.
That's an interesting move. What should you roll? Roll me a concentration check.
Oh, okay.
Alright, you're still stuck here.
Oh, okay.
But the voice feels softer slightly. It doesn't feel to be pressuring you as much. The carrot is still obviously there. Iskrim.
Okay, well this time I'm going to remember to add my rage damage in. Yeah, I'm still raging. And of the two void monsters, is there one that looks worse than the other?
I am not at liberty to answer that question.
Okay, then I'm just going to keep going for the one that... I'm going to go for the one that most recently attacked me, so Void Monster 3, it looks like.
Uh, 18 and 17 will hit.
Cool. Add 3 to both of those. And I'm going to do my Storm Aura damage, which that's going to be against both of them. Do you want me to roll once or roll once for each of them?
Roll once for each one.
That one was against Void Monster 3.
The 20 should hit.
Two damage against Void Monster 1. And that will end my turn.
Astor, this is against you. Hey!
Oh wow.
Freedom.
Until next turn.
Yeah, I know.
Void
We
Monster
remain
3.
for 1 hour.
You are immune for 1 hour. Void Monster 3 is going to attack Eastgrim twice.
I am down so hard.
Okay.
I'm so down.
Even though you have fallen unconscious, you appear not to have you don't have movements of your body, you still somehow retain awareness of the situation. I'm guessing, through sparring or something, you've probably been knocked unconscious before. It doesn't feel like that. Void Monster 3 is gonna move here, end his turn. This is against Zarrius. Hey! Chicon defense.
Oh, is that at
16.
me? Oh no, that's not.
No, 16. Did you get that? 16?
Yep. So you gain mobility for your next turn. Bryn.
All right. I'm going to start with a bonus action. Yay. 14 health back.
Yay!
I'll take what I can get. Alright, I'm going to try to do the same trick shot to knock back Void Monster 3 from me. Oh yeah.
That'll do it.
Here's damage. Okay, and then run away a little bit more. To here and tag Monster 3 again. And that's it for me. I'm all out of ammo on that thing.
6. Cool. Void Monster 2 is going to attempt to I'm just gonna move around Narroth and move here to get to Bryn.
Alright.
And you hear a voice emanating from this creature. We can end this now, you just have to join me. He's gonna take a slash.
Okay. It has disadvantage, so it's not a crit.
That's fine. 27.
Yeah.
This is against Lilith. Hopefully I'll miss. Hey, that's pretty low.
It is not low enough.
Void Monster 1 is going to move on to Zarrius. Attack you twice. That's a good bit of damage.
He's just rolling high, period. Like, there's no... On everything, he's rolling high.
Okay,
Yeah, it's impressive. Normally I roll crappy.
So I take the damage and crit damage as well as the damage of the second one, right? And it's the 3 each for... Well, actually, do I still have the resistance to cold from Eastgrim?
Technically that goes away when he goes down.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay, cool. Let me math.
Narroth.
Narroth is going to try to do the concentrating, meditating thing again. If he could take a 20, he would, but if you'd like me to roll, I can do that too.
No, I need you to roll. So Narroth gets this clearer picture of what this is. It feels like he's kind of astral projecting himself now, and you can kind of see that he is not in his own body, and he's getting that distinction against it. But he can also feel himself getting pulled back into this void. Narroth can choose to leave this combat if he wants to.
Narroth is going to choose to leave the combat.
Cool. I'm gonna keep your token there just for sake.
How does it look when Narroth leaves?
So to Narroth, it looks like he is basically being pulled out of this thing, and as he is leaving this thing, he sees the moon in its full capacity, and as he is leaving, the moon sort of turns around and he sees that wide grin that he saw on the figure of a dome, and he basically seems to be floating back to Earth at an accelerated pace, accelerating as he goes, but we'll leave it at that for now.
Okay.
Iskrim, go ahead and roll me a death saving throw. Cool. Based on the nature of this fight, no damage is being taken. I was giving her a chance to roll a 20 to maybe get back up. But that's all right. Astor.
All right. So, to the rest of the group, does it look like Narroth is gone?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, what Astor is going to do is he's going to put his weapons away, walk over to Iskrim. I guess run, technically, because of the nature of things. And he's going to use Cure Wounds on him as a second level spell.
Roll it.
Huh. He's going to then look out to the battlefield and talk to everybody else that's there and say, I think Adam has had enough of a look of our abilities. Let's try and take a leaf out of Narroth's book. And he's going to try and do the same thing as Narroth, meditate and see if he can mentally separate himself from here.
Roll concentration.
Nope.
Cool. Void Monster 3 is going to hold his action. Zarrius. Also, Rachael, your character is up with however many HPs that was. 14. Are prone technically, but yeah.
Cool.
I will take my staff, bang it against the ground, and strike a pose in meditation.
Describe this pose for me.
Okay. What happens is that he bangs his staff against the ground twice, and he sets it on the ground, and you see it, and it holds him up. He balances himself on his staff with his feet face planted facing each other against the staff, and then his hands pressing down straight against the bottom, or against the top pointy part of the staff, so his hands are straight down, and he he's touching his feet together against the stick part of his staff, and that's his meditation pose.
Bryn.
Okay. So Lilith is still paralyzed? Is that what's happening with Lilith?
That's correct.
Okay, Isgrim just got up. And then Astor and Zarrius just got unparalyzed as well, right?
That's correct. And Zarrius strikes a pose.
Right. We're just gonna ignore that. And as far as she knows, Narroth is just gone. Question? That was a question.
Yes.
Okay. She'll say to Void Monster 2. So, if I join, does it stop for them?
I only need one vessel.
She'll think for a split second and then reach out her right hand.
You see the smile of a Dom appear on this void, guys. It's like, so you accept my offer?
Her hand's out.
He reaches to grab it.
All right. Before it gets there, she flips her pistol in her left hand and squeezes off 2 rounds right in a row.
Both hit.
All right. Cool. I'm going to use... So that was action, attack action, bonus action. I'm going to use the last action to reload my pistol, action surge, and then hit him 2 more times.
Cool.
And then after those 4 shots, she flips it back in her hand and just flips him off.
Bob, he's gonna strike at you twice.
Fair enough. First one, it has disadvantage and hits anyways. I think I'm down, but I'll do the math.
This is against Lilith.
Yeah, Bryn's down.
Void Monster 1 will walk over to Isgrim and...
Real quick, Chris.
Wait.
I know I can't take an action, but can I try something?
Sure, as long as it makes sense.
Okay, I'm paralyzed, but my mind is still awake, right?
Theoretically.
Okay. We'll see if you'll let me do this, but I doubt you will. But we're gonna try this. And as soon as I do it, you'll know what I'm talking about. It doesn't work anyway, but hey, I gotta try.
You feel no connection to Arathish right now. You feel your magic, but you don't feel the her blessing, her anything. It's like a void. Narroth, you wake up back at the end.
All right, Narroth is going to immediately go and try to wake up the others in the material plane.
Who are you gonna wake up first?
Who's closest physically?
Who are you gonna wake up first?
I'm gonna guess that Astor is closest physically. He's gonna wake up Astor.
Answer roll concentration. Also, Zarrius, you have succeed on your concentration check, so you will also come out of existence. Same thing. You see the space thing. You see the moon look at you with the grin of a dom, and then you wake up. Astor, you will come to as well. Isgrim, you are up, but both Astor and Zarrius have disappeared from your sight. You are prone, It'll take half your speed to stand up as well. And you have a void monster who, quote unquote, held his action, waiting to see what you would do.
I noticed that. I also noticed that Astor said, let's try what Narroth did after he tried to wake me up, or after he brought me back. And so now that I'm not raging, I start to actually think about how my father had me back in the tundra, and every now and then we would be out in the wilderness, and he would try to show me that sometimes the obvious answer wasn't go run forth and kill the thing. It was to sit back and watch and see what was going on. Iskrim never really learned it that well, but right now he's noticing that Narroth and Astor and Zarrius are gone, so he's going to try and just lay there and get out of this place.
Roll concentration. If you don't have proficient... Oh, never mind, you're good. It's good enough to get out of here.
I don't have proficiency.
But you had the skill prep, so... Good for me. Astor, you're still traveling in space right now.
We.
We.
Boy Monster 3 is going to look scarily at Lilith, but not do anything. Bryn is still conscious of his surroundings, and you hear the voice of a Dom emanating from this void monster. This is your last chance. What are you going to do?
Can I speak?
Yeah, sure.
Fuck you.
That's my girl.
Bryn is out of combat. We'll discuss that later. Lilith. I think at this point someone's going to wake you up, but Void Monster or Adam is going to look at you and goes, "Your friends are gone. Now will you join me?"
Lilith looks at him and says, I already serve one God. I will not serve another.
At this point, Lilith will be taken out. Everyone will get the visual of the moon staring at them, and we're going to fade to black. But Narroth or John, I want to give you an inspiration point for that because I thought that was good. You figured that out really quickly.
Thank you.
And
I didn't get a chance to act because he paralyzed me. I didn't do nothing.
Same here. Well, I did something, but you went after me first. Goddamn.
Danny takes up.
Oh, is that it for tonight?
Break.
Okay, we're going on a quick 5-minute break. We'll be right back in just a few moments. Thank you so much for joining us for the Low Rollers Live, and we will be back very, very shortly. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Thank you. We got that on stream, Danny. Welcome back to some more Low Rollers Live. We just finished up our battle, so let's go ahead and kick it off. What are we doing, Chris?
So, we enter back towards that that inn that you were at before, the Legend of Conrad, where Narroth has basically got into Astor, and then Astor, Zarrius, and Narroth has sort of been able to pull everyone else back. Only problem is at this moment, Bryn Wanders does not appear to be waking up, but everyone else has regained consciousness, and we have received the benefit of a short rest. Bryn, why don't you take the hit dice loss of it right now anyway? Just so we can do that anyway. Do that now.
Okay, I'll do that.
So go ahead and start the rolls and get that going. But yes, we have just met a new character, a Dom. It's kind of spooky. So much dice being rolled. And be very interesting to sort of hear the responses. So if you guys, as you guys are rolling, you want to give me some player responses to a Dom, that might be a good time for that.
Well, me personally, I don't care what he offers. He's just seems like an arrogant prick to me. So, yeah.
All gods are arrogant pricks. I think it's part of their job description.
He did have a very tempting offer. I know most of us are like, oh no, I'd be too good to turn on my party, but like he actually offered exactly what Narroth wanted. So it was actually difficult to say no.
I think the takeaway is that he accessed your desires, your wants, your nightmares even.
Yeah.
I think in terms of Astor kind of knows what he wants to do, and Adam is pretty much acting contrary to what his desires, quote unquote, would be. So that would be why his response was very staunch.
Cool. Rachael, real quick. So for when we do hit dice, we do your average is your minimum. So for you, it will be the minimum you will heal from a hit dice is 11. So anything
nice.
that's lower than 11, make sure you count it as an 11. Anything higher is obviously higher.
A Song of Rest.
Okay.
I don't think Song of Rest is going to work in this particular situation.
Sorry.
Song of Rest applies to the 1 hour rest rule.
Yeah, okay.
Which will be you can use the healing kit to heal, and then he can roll the extra d6.
So Bryn hasn't woke up yet?
That is correct.
Okay, so I am going to, because this is sort of my job, I'm going to roll a medicine check to see if I can figure out what's wrong with her. Is that possible?
Yeah. Her body appears to be in shock. Or her mind appears to be in shock. It's like whatever has happened through that experience. It looks like her mind, her brain hasn't returned from the void quite yet.
Okay. I don't know if there's much I can do for her.
there's something Astor would like to try.
Sure.
So he's going to try and search for, how do I put this? For Bryn's consciousness, I suppose. And he's going to try and do it with this. Hold on. There it is.
Oh my god, that's a wall of text.
Oh,
Sorry, it's the tech thoughts. He's going to try and see if he can maneuver through her mind and find her that way.
there are no surface thoughts. It's like her mind isn't there.
Okay.
Let's cut to Bryn.
Okay.
So, like everyone else, you've experienced leaving this void space, and you see the presence of a dom there staring at you. But unlike everyone else, it doesn't seem like you're able to pull away. But you are conscious, and you could speak to it potentially.
Speak to the big moon.
Yes.
I don't want to talk to him.
Okay, you're floating there then.
How long
You
does
can
this
see-
happen?
I mean, it really depends what the party does, but it's been about 5 minutes so far.
She'll just probably like at the 2-minute mark. Is it like an unwavering gaze from him?
Yes.
She'll probably close her eyes just so she doesn't have to look at it.
So, as you close your eyes, it feels like his presence is sort of enveloping you further. As you go into the darkness of the back of your eyelids, you can kind of feel the void as in your own presence.
I cast that on her.
It won't work for this particular case.
I know, but I had to try.
Can those of us who are back on Earth, is it a good time to try different things, or is this just a Bryn moment?
So I'm letting Bryn do things for a few minutes and then we'll interject.
Okay.
Depending if she wants to do anything else.
Okay, so when you say envelop, what are you talking about?
So you close your eyes and it feels like you're going back into that space. You don't actually feel your body moving, but you kind of see that purple grayish void coloring that you experienced prior.
Okay, is there like not just sight, but is there like a touch component to it as well?
Not really. Feels
Okay.
cold.
So it's almost like I can still see him even though my eyes are closed.
Yeah, it sounds like he is kind of pulling you closer in a sense, but there's no actual touch.
Okay, I'm gonna open my eyes and see if he actually is closer.
As soon as you open your eyes, that space sort of disappears and you're back to where you were. And his smile is getting bigger and bigger, where it's almost enveloping 3/4 of his face, or 3/4 of the moon's face.
So what, am I a prisoner now?
You're wherever you want to be. It doesn't seem like you're able to return home, that's for sure.
I can assure you
Some of you passed the test. You didn't.
I can assure you I don't want to be here. Seen a lot of ugly people in my time, but you take the medals.
I'll accept that. You probably haven't seen any void creatures for that matter. How about this? I'll send you home if you will one day return the favor for me.
And what favor are you giving me exactly?
Oh, return you to the natural plane. If one day you help me go back to the void.
I thought you were the void.
I am, but I don't plan to be here forever.
Well, if me saying no keeps you here forever, then I guess we'll be stuck together for a long time.
We'll see if your friends can help you out. They seem like well, not a smart bunch, but they might figure it out.
Smart enough to pass your test.
Oh, well, one of them did.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Right, that was my reference.
Yeah.
Back to everyone else. So you cast this spell, but as you or this is towards Lilith, you sort of go through this and you're like, you think like, okay, what was this? Was it an aberration? Was it celestial? Was it elemental? And you realize that you have no idea what this void is. Like, your magic is not centered around to protect anyone from the void. And you run into, really, that's the main issue.
Narroth is going to take Bryn by the hand, and he's going to try to extend his mind, trying to make the trip back to where Bryn is.
Rule of cool, I'm gonna allow it. Bryn, sitting into this space, and you feel pressure coming from your, we'll say, right hand. And you see the figure and presence of Narroth appear. Adam kind of goes, "Oh, come to accept my plea?"
Come to return this young one back to where she belongs. And then he's going to look over to Bryn, and he's going to, try and cast his fly spell, twinned on both him and Bryn. Narroth is going to grow something akin to dragon wings, and Bryn is going to grow familiar demon wings. And Narroth is going to lead her back.
So, Adam goes, "Interesting. Narroth, you and I could be very profitable together. Think on that." And you guys fly back towards the earth and fade back into existence. Bryn, take 1 point of exhaustion.
Fair enough.
And expend the fly spell and the sorcery points for it.
Will do.
And let's get some happier music going. And yeah, everyone has returned to the scene. You don't feel the bruises and like the attacks that are gone, but it's like a psychological effect on your psyche. And you guys feel tired. Some of you exceptionally so. Take it away.
Well,
so I guess
Bryn opens her eyes.
Perfect. You're going to see Narroth next to you, gripping your hand in real life, checking to see if you've, actually returned.
Everyone else?
Isgrim is standing uselessly by the corner. He doesn't know what to do.
Well, Astor had his hand on your forehead trying to use magic to see where your mind was, but he pulls it away, backs up into a wall, sits down, and just sighs out of exhaustion.
Zarrius. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Zarrius would probably be not striking the same pose that you saw, but probably striking another pose so as to meditate / try and figure out what just happened.
At this point, Astor speaks up and says, "Well, that Adam certainly was a nuisance."
One thing he said, though, has me concerned.
What, the whole Kai missing bit?
Yeah, I have a feeling Kai isn't dead.
So who is this guy?
Who wants to tell the story?
Before any stories start, after Bryn kind of gets her senses back, she's going to pull her hand away from Narroth and pick up some of her stuff and just kind of storm out.
Astor gets up and he's gonna run after her.
Well, that's one way to avoid that conversation.
That actually wasn't the intent, but he does that.
Lilith pulls Isgrim aside and just explains the whole story of Kai. Do we actually have to roleplay it out?
Yeah, I think
No,
this would be a good scene, actually.
Okay.
So, Lilith says to Isgrim, well, Kai was a companion that they traveled with for a while, and I sort of joined them at the Clockwork City in Excelsior, and he made certain promises and led us to believe that he was that a certain thing could be accomplished, and we followed him blindly. Even I so much as trusted him more than I trusted the rest of the party. And he led us to a tower where at the bottom was trapped the wounded king, where we unknowingly let him loose. And my actions personally probably ensured that he was released.
So he pretended to be your friends to gain your trust and then turned on you after using you all to release the wounded king.
Yeah. Pretty much. And then we killed his ass dead. Or so we thought.
Yes, but this Adam said he was just missing.
That is our worry. If Kai is alive, that's a whole new set of problems.
Well, let us do one problem at a time. We have this festival to go to. Then we have the rendezvous that Astor told me about. And we'll go from there. And if Kai shows up, you guys have killed him once before, I'm sure we can kill him once again.
Yeah.
Narroth gives a grunt that kind of edges into a growl.
It's a very sore subject for us.
I can see that, but if you hide it, you just let it fester like a wound, and it will eat at you and consume you.
Lilith looks at Narroth, and Narroth just sees a tears start to well up at her eyes, and Lilith says, I'm sorry, and just walks out.
At this point, Narroth is probably going to look at Iskrim, nod, and then walk after Lilith.
And there were two.
So is it just me and Iskrim in the room?
I believe so.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you see Zarrius move to a pose very quickly, and like his eyes are closed, so you don't see him like looking at you per se. Well, what would I say? I don't know what I was saying. So you can't see that. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways,
I can't tell if he's paying any attention to me or not.
Sure. Yes. Sorry. And all of a sudden you start hearing him mumble. But the mumbling is actually him trying to reach Obad-hai and contact him. Possibly.
Give me a religion check. Pretty quiet.
Okay.
I would attribute it to Zarrius being too distracted.
That's fair. So you see him go back to the same pose that he was holding before he like quickly snapped into that one position, and he quote unquote comes to, and you see him open his eyes and gather in his surroundings and ask where everyone went.
Well, the female that I confused for your sister, Bryn, she ran out as soon as she woke up. Astor ran right after her, so I suspect it's to comfort her. Lilith told me all about your friend Kai, your not friend Kai, and then Lilith and Narroth left, and that left us.
Ah.
I didn't move after it looked like you were meditating of some sort. I did not want to disturb you.
Well, thank you. I am used to having to meditate with distractions around. It forces me to focus a bit more on my craft.
Well, let us be honest. There were 3 odd creatures attacking us, and you meditated pretty well there, but I figured I'd help you out.
Well, thank you. What are your plans?
All right, so we woke up. This is morning now, I assume, of the next day?
So I haven't gone to that those descriptors yet, but just short version is it is sunrise. The sun is just peeping out.
Okay. Well, my first plan is to eat, because it is morning, and you eat before you go out and do the work of the day. And then I suppose I should probably find something more appropriate to wear to the festival this evening.
Yes. I might need to find something as well. I'm not too sure what they would necessarily have men wear for these occasions.
But possibly I think the best thing to do right now is to find the rest of the party and see how they are doing, because everyone seems to be a little despairing after that incident.
Well, that's understandable. I think you would agree. And I think it's going to take us a while to actually bring everything into focus on those subject matters.
While that may be, we are here now. We have things to do now. To let a dream influence us in such a monumental way is just not practical.
Maybe not for you, but for me at least. I focus a lot on my thoughts and my feelings. And so anytime I have a dream, an idea, my meditation helps with that quite a bit. It helps me figure out what I would want to do.
There is some sense in that, but to dwell too long stalls you out so that forward progress is plateaued.
Well, since we're on stalling out, let's not stall out currently. Let's go get some breakfast.
Cool. We'll end that scene there. So, Bryn, well, let's start like this. The sun starts to peek out, and the moon starts to fade into the background, and we see the town begin to rise with activity. A lot of these people are early risers. They're beginning to set up shops. You hear the sound of people mumbling. Fires are being put up. You see and feel and smell the sense of breakfast being produced. And from the legend of Conrad, we see the door exiting the inn fly open, and a Bryn wanders exits. At this point, you're in the tourist area of the city. If you guys want to explore a little bit, you guys may. But where is Bryn Wanders going, and how hard are you trying to lose Astor, who's following you?
Am I aware that Astor is following me?
I will leave that up to you.
Well, has Astor said anything? I should say.
He hasn't said anything while chasing after you yet. You might be able to hear him running, but that's about it.
So Bryn isn't running away, but she is briskly walking just down the street somewhere else.
Alright, so I'm guessing in this case Astor reaches the exit, takes a quick survey of the landing, and he sees Bryn walking wherever Bryn is walking. So he's going to run, but I guess not super hurriedly. He just wants to match pace with Bryn at some point, I guess, standing next to her.
You clearly notice Narroth. Or Astor.
Before he gets next to her, if she looks back and sees him, which I'm assuming is not out of the question.
Right.
She'll just say, "Leave me alone, Astor."
I'm just concerned about your safety for right now. You looked very tired when you woke up.
Just leave me alone.
Will you come back to the inn later?
She's probably, as she walks, she probably stumbles a little bit, like from a rush of blood to the head, and steadies herself on a wall or a nearby post or something.
Astor is going to hurry up to her, and he just says, "At least let me give you one
No.
thing."
Don't touch me. Just
Okay.
leave me alone. You had no
Astor
problem
just-
doing it before with him. Leave me alone now.
Fine. I won't touch you, but you can touch me. And he holds out his hand, and it's glowing a familiar light blue, which you see happen every time he uses a healing spell.
She picks herself up.
His hand remains.
And she will walk away.
Astor kind of scratches his head.
She'll probably get like a good 15 feet away from him and stop. Just kind of turn around and say, "You want to help me?"
He's listening.
Well, if you do, ask Narroth what his deal is, and then she walks away.
Well, the camera sees that Astor has a fairly confused expression on his face. And he's going to actually take to heart what Bryn said, turn around and try and find Narroth.
Shortly after, we see Lilith again kick down the door. Where's Lilith going? And how is Narroth pursuing? Oh, looks like we're pairing up.
Lilith is actually just going back to her room.
Oh, okay. So you didn't get that far. And Narroth will see that as well.
Narroth is approaching trepidatiously.
What do you do?
Lilith walks to her room, and as she enters her room, she closes the door. And as she closes the door, she just falls down onto the floor sobbing.
I'm guessing Narroth can hear this.
I'm guessing so too. Lilith can hear a soft knock at the door.
Who is it?
Narroth.
What do you want?
Would you like to talk?
The door just opens.
Perfect. You said Lilith was on the floor?
Yeah, sobbing.
Narroth will probably cross his legs and sit down next to her.
She just goes, "It'll never be over, will it? It'll never go away."
What will never be over?
What I did. It'll never go away.
The events may not be able to change, but how we view them can.
If he's back, that's just a new problem on top of everything.
If he's back, and means us harm as he did before. It means that we just have to face him as we did before. It was difficult at the time, but we now have the benefit of looking back. We know how to destroy him. However, the fact that if he is back, and the fact that this Adam did not give the position back to him, could indicate that he has changed.
Did you know? Did you know when Adam threw those creatures at us, that if you did nothing, that was the test? Did you know? Or did you just give up? Why didn't you fight?
I didn't know it was the answer to some test. I did know that he was gathering information on us. The one thing I did not want to do was give someone like him, who has proclaimed that he will do us harm in the future, to know any more about us or our fighting styles as we possibly could. So if he has the power to trap us in a different dimension, to create beasts out of thin air to go after us, I could try to fight them off and exhaust myself, or I could not fight and let what was to be to be.
But what if he had killed you?
Then I would have died. I'm not trying to make light of this, but if we had defeated the beasts that he formed from midair, he could have made more. There was no way to end that state through fighting. The hardest lesson I've had to learn through my meditations is been when to not release the flames of war onto a situation. Fire cannot fight fire. Only water can do that.
Did you consider taking his deal?
Sorry, what was that?
Did you consider taking his deal? He offered to make you a dragon. That's what you've always wanted.
I considered it, briefly. I also considered what it would mean to be a dragon with no dominion. Nothing to do with that newfound power. If the world would be turned to ashes, turned to rubble, then my goal would be meaningless. Because the whole reason I want to be in that way, that be that person, is to experience the world through that part of myself. If the world is gone, then that goal has no purpose.
I understand that. Only very recently have I learned what purpose really means.
And what does purpose mean to you?
I thought for a long time, as I was taught, purpose meant power. Purpose meant to be the most influential, the most powerful, the richest. But I've come to find out that no matter how much power you have, it means nothing in the broad spectrum of things. When I was gone from here, Arathis showed me something in myself that I did not like. I put on a front, a brave face. I hid behind illusion, and I hid behind deception. But that didn't protect the ones that I love. Roland, my mother, now caught up in the middle of a civil war. My church, caught up in the middle of a civil war, all because of my greed, my yearning for revenge. I just don't know anymore. I just want to protect the ones that I love, the ones that I care for.
That sounds like a good use of that power.
Our land is in turmoil. The Queen and the King are preparing for open battles in the streets of Tyria, one of the centers of civilization in our homeland. And all this is because of a mistake of mine.
Narroth kind of breathes in deeply and lets out a big sigh. You can see a couple wisps of smoke billowing out from his nose. This is not because of you. You did not have the plan to release the wounded king.
No, but I stopped you from stopping him. If I hadn't have stopped you, the wounded king would not be released. You would have stopped Kai.
I would have tried. Who knows if that would have worked. He was the one who had the plan to release the wounded king. You were trusting in your friend. That, at least, I can understand.
To be honest, I did trust him more than I trusted you.
Narroth gives a nod.
She just looks at Narroth and she just goes, I'm sorry.
Narroth takes a long time, and his yellow reptilian eyes look deep into hers and says, I forgive you. And should we cut the scene there?
No, I think Astor comes bumbling in pretty soon. Like, now, if he chooses to. Since he was looking for Narroth anyway.
Yeah, what happens is Astor probably arrives at the open door, looks in and sees that Narroth is there, and Lilith also has the tear-streaked face. He looks inside and then he says, Narroth, I'll talk to you later, and he leaves.
Narroth looks back over to Astor. If you have something to say, you should say it. You've interrupted anyway.
All it was is I wanted to talk to you about Bryn for a second. She's quite the oddball.
Narroth puts a hand on Lilith's shoulder and then stands up slowly and walks out of the room with Astor. Now, what about Bryn?
So, what did you do? Let me backtrack. Just now, earlier, you saw me chase after Bryn, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so before I actually got right up to her, well, after we parted, what she told me was, what was it? What's up with, what's Narroth's deal, or something like that? What did you do that may have made her say that? Apparently this is my way of helping her, and he does air quotes around the word helping.
Narroth looks over. I got her away from Adam. I don't know.
Does Bryn ever... Bryn has never asked for help before, has she?
I guess I never thought of that. I don't recall.
You see Astor ponder for a few seconds.
I don't mean to interrupt, but can Lilith hear this conversation, or did they walk completely away?
I'm guessing they're right outside the door.
Yeah, we didn't say anything about walking away.
There you go.
Okay, so as they're talking, Lilith is going to use a sending spell and just send a quick message to Bryn and say, I hope you're all right. Please stay safe. And that's it.
All right, expend the slot. Bryn can respond, I believe, for 25 words or less.
Just need time.
Lilith can hear that.
Okay. She doesn't respond because she doesn't need to.
So, alright, Astor and Narroth will continue the conversation, I guess. So, this is just a postulate of mine. Is Bryn the type to want to do everything by herself without anybody helping her?
I haven't gotten that impression in the past.
I'm sorry, you have or you haven't?
I have not.
I guess she's a bit stubborn in a sense. Interesting. I should have asked Lana more about her. Oh well. Well, I just hope she does alright. I mean, we all saw something pretty nasty in our own sense.
What did you see? Wait, out of character, do we know what each other saw?
I mean, you don't know the nightmare, but you know the general, the battle, and...
Okay, yeah, so what did you see?
You see Astor make kind of an uncomfortable expression, and then he says, well, before the whole Adam conversation, well, I mean, this is something we all saw. We all saw whoever our fathers were, but even before that, I had a rather uncomfortable nightmare, I guess it would be a better way to describe it. What it is I was thinking back on the birth of Caleb, how, Kieran helped deliver Caleb, how Lana was, I guess pushing. But instead of how I remembered it to be, where everything went smoothly, Lana was healthy, Caleb was screaming my ears off, it was that Lana had passed away and that Caleb was not screaming healthily. You see that on the Astor's eyes, there's just a little bit of liquid, I guess. But anyways.
Narroth is going to put a hand on his shoulder, but that didn't happen.
No, it did not. He wipes the tears that are on his eyes off of his face. That doesn't mean it's not an uncomfortable thought, anyways. I'm glad that it's not the reality, but that was very distressing. I'm wondering if we all experienced something like that.
Narroth kind of shrugs. I mean, I didn't see what could have been, but I saw what I fear for the future.
What did you see, if you don't mind me asking?
Narroth kind of trails off for a second, looking over at one of the walls. I saw your graves. He kind of gives a sigh and settles his shoulders and looks at Astor. All of us. All of our graves. I was the only one left, after all is said and done.
Wow, that's very depressing.
Seems like that was a theme, Narroth says, and kind of shakes his head a little bit, almost as if to clear the phantom image from his eyes. Now, let's not dwell on these depressing things. Perhaps instead we should grab some breakfast.
Astor's face brightens up a bit. He goes towards the door frame and says, well, he stands there and he looks at Lilith and he says, speaking of that, Lilith, would you like to go and grab some food? Lilith?
No, I think I'll stay in the room for a little bit.
Okay. Alright, well, if you feel like joining, we'll be there. Shall we go, Narroth?
Narroth gives a nod and heads down to the main dining area.
And the camera, I think, at this point will fade to black.
All right, and that will end this week's episode of Low Rollers Live. Thank you so much for joining us. If you did enjoy it, we do stream every Monday night at 9 p.m. Pacific. We also do a rebroadcast on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific in case the 9 p.m. is a little bit too late for you. Our post show is going to start in just a couple minutes, so go ahead and restart the stream, but that's going to be it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good one.